Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to our virtual career day, and specifically to the session with PwC. It's a privilege to be hosting this session today because I am PwC alumni, hashtag PwC, a couple of years ago. So it's really a privilege to be in the same room. And I'm really looking forward to what PwC has to share with you today. They've got a star-studded panel with lots of information and also some previous Millpark students on the panel. So I'm going to let them introduce themselves. But before we get there, guys, just some housekeeping rules. I'm sure that you've heard it in other sessions if you've joined other sessions today. But the most important housekeeping rule is just where you ask your question. So if you have a burning question that you really want PwC to see and to answer, please post it in the Q&A function. So on the top ribbon on your screen, you should see the Q&A function. So please post your questions there. It's an easier thread for us to follow, because if you post it in the chat, sometimes it gets lost between the comments. We'll try and monitor the chat as well, but we cannot guarantee that if your question is there, that we will see it. So if you really have a burning question, post it in the Q&A and that the panel will address it there. And then afterwards, I'm sure it's also going to be time for Q&A where you will have the ability to put up your hand and we will activate your mic and you can ask away. So please give the panel a warm Millpark welcome and ask them all your burning questions. Cool. Thanks, PwC. Over to you.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Yunei. So good afternoon, everyone. A very warm welcome to our PW Step into the next era session. Really looking forward to engaging with you today, chatting with you today, and just finding out a little bit about who you are. But before I introduce myself, I just want to take a moment to acknowledge all the students on the call and to Millpark for allowing us to be part of your journey today. I'm also excited to be part of this session and thank you so much for your time that you've taken out of your afternoon. And yeah, I'm Janine Barters and I'm part of the National Graduate Talent Acquisition Team. And I look after audit for the Western Cape region and some of our risk services programs as well for the Cape Town office. But I'm not running solo today. We've got panel members, we've got awesome guests on our call, and I'm not facilitating solo today. So I've got Artie on our line and on our call this afternoon. So let me allow you to introduce yourself.
Thanks, Janine. Very excited for this afternoon session. So I know it's a Friday afternoon, but we really want to see that energy. Okay, so we're bringing the energy from PwC and we want to see the same energy from you guys. I'm Arthi. I'm a senior manager at PwC and I look after graduate talent acquisition across the country. And now that you know about Janine and I think it's only fair that we find out where everyone is from. So you know how to use the chat function. I saw the gifts in the chat. Maybe pop us a message, tell us where you're joining us from. Okay, so which part of South Africa are you from? Which province or which area? Let's see. Hi, Rodney.
We've got
Okay.
Josie, Polokwane, Soweto, Joining from Paul, Western Cape. Awesome.
Ooh, Durban. I see lots of Durban, Janine.
That's fantastic, Artie. We've got
Oh,
Stellenbosch, Bloemfontein. Wow, this is
Yune's gonna be
awesome.
happy. Joining from Kabeja. Here we go. Port Shepstone, Northwest. Oh, wait, what's this? The Wild, Wild Northwest. Love that. And Ketty from Limpopo. Lorinda from Bloom. Oh my word, now I can't keep up with the chat. I'm trying
This
to
is
read
so
as quickly as
awesome.
I can. I love it. I love it.
Really cool.
Okay, see. Camilla from Mpumalanga. Hi. Okay, and then we've got Mishle, Eastern Cape, Lerato, Witbank. We've got Ria from Peter Maritzburg. Oh my word. I think we have representation across the country, Janine.
I think so, Artie. And this is so awesome to see. It's lovely to see. It just makes one realize, the benefit of being virtual, having a webinar, and we don't always have the opportunity to engage with you in person, but at least we can engage with you virtually, which is so cool. So really love that. And thank you for just sharing a little bit about where you're from. Um, and yeah, before we comfortable now, we know where you're from. So we want to take the opportunity to tell us a little bit about what we offer, the opportunities that we have, and hope it gets the juices flowing this afternoon. So PwC offers exciting opportunities, and this means that we are still recruiting for students like yourself to join our firm. Yes, you heard right, and letting you know that we do have opportunities available for our 2027 intake. You heard right, our 2027 intake. So, like I mentioned earlier on, we have a few business representatives on the call. They'll give you some more insight into their journey and how you, as students, can set yourself up for success by joining our firm. So, Artie, maybe if you can take us through our agenda for this afternoon.
I would love to. So I know we have a limited time slot, but we are going to just jam pack the whole agenda with lots of exciting information. So we are going to take you through what the next era is, because you would recall Janine said we're stepping into the next era. We're going to talk about who we are as an organization, our values, and you will soon realize how you fit into those values. Um, as we saw, there's people from all over the country. So that means there's an opportunity for you in various offices around the country. Why you should choose PwC? I mean, if it's not evident already, you'll find out why. And then we'll go to our fabulous guests on the call. We have a few business reps, and they are very excited to share their journeys with you. We'll do a little bit of professional etiquette tips, and you'll get to meet our entire team, and then also tell you why PwC cares. We have left some time for Q&A, so you will get an opportunity to ask us any questions on your mind, anything that we can maybe help with, and then most importantly, show you how you can apply to PwC.
Awesome. So, Artie, would you also take us through who we are this afternoon?
Sure. So, PwC as an organization, our purpose is to build trust in society and solve important problems. This is a broad statement, but it means that once you join PwC, you will have an active opportunity to solve real life problems, not just for clients, but for peers around you, for the business, and for our global stakeholders as well. We do operate within assurance, consulting and risk services, tax and legal services, and deals. So, for all of you that are within the accounting field, you would fall under assurance. But PwC doesn't limit you there. So even after your 3 years of articles, you'll have different kinds of opportunities in all of our service lines. We do hire diverse range of graduates. So as Janine mentioned earlier, just testing you now to see if you heard what she said. She also recruits for consulting and risk services. This means that we don't just hire accounting graduates, we actually hire graduates for our tax programs, for our risk services programs, for actuarial science, and the list goes on and on and on. We are a global organization. That means we have a network of firms in 149
Wow.
countries. That
How
is
cool is
mind
that?
blowing, right?
Mhm.
I'm waiting for the audience to show me some love on the 149 countries. There we go. And even more mind blowing, we have 13 offices across South Africa. So that's 13 different locations that you can join PwC from.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Aarti. So, what we're going to do now, we're going to chat a little bit about our values and see and ascertain for yourself if this is the type of organization you want to be part of. We'd obviously love to have you here. So, let's go through all of that. So, PwC is built on firm values that all employees show commitment to every day. So, what we love about these values is that we don't just relate to work and our professional lives, but they do also resonate in our personal lives. So, one of our values include we act with integrity. So, when it comes to this, we speak up for what is right, especially when it feels difficult, and do things as if our own personal reputation was at stake. We make a difference. So we stay informed and we ask questions about the future of the world that we live in. We care, which is my favorite, and I absolutely love this one. So we try to take time to understand every individual and what is important to them. And we also recognize the value that each individual contributes. We work together, which is also quite awesome because we get to work with lots of people. So we collaborate and we share relationships and knowledge so that we can create a diverse range of perspectives and ideas from each other. And finally, we reimagine the possible. I'm sure you've heard that somewhere, you've heard it over and so many times. And this speaks to having an open mind to learn and challenging ourselves to new possibilities. Thanks so much, everyone. And that's all our values for this afternoon. I really hope that it touched you, it resonated with you, that you felt that you were aligned. And if you do feel that inkling in your tummy right now that this is where you want to be, then that's normally a sign. Awesome. Thanks, Aarti. Over to you.
So, Janine, I know I mentioned we have 13 offices in the
Yes.
country. So if we move on to the next slide, this is actually where those 13 offices are based. So whether you are joining us from Mpumalanga or KZN or the Eastern Cape, we have an office near you. Okay, so I'm just going to go through this quickly just so that you can identify what would be the best option for you. So if we start at the bottom, you will see that we have three offices in the Western Cape. We've got Cape Town, we've got Stellenbosch, and we've got Worcester. So it just depends. If you like snow-capped mountains and no traffic, Worcester's for you. If you enjoy wine, Stellenbosch is for you. And if you like the city life, then Cape Town's for you. If we move further up, our central region, and that is where you would find Bloemfontein, Kimberley, and Mafeking. Um, I'm thinking about roses for Bloemfontein because I know they have the most beautiful parks. So if that's something that you really love, then that's definitely a place for you. And then if we go further up north, we have Johannesburg, and in our northeast region, we've got Imalahleni and Nelspruit and Mbombela. And then along the coast, so this is for people that love the ocean. So in KZN, we've got Pietermaritzburg and Durban. And then last but not least, Eastern Cape, we've got East London and Gqeberha. So I hope you spotted an office that would really work for you. Thanks, Jen.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Audie. So lastly, we also want to share some exciting news with all of you. We've changed our branding and elevated our strategy, and we are going be above and beyond together. So Fatima, if you can take it away and showcase our video, please. Thanks so much. I'll say it over and over again. I love this video. It excites me. It makes me happy. I think if could have it as a ringtone on my phone, I probably would would do that. um, yeah, so thank you so much, Fatima, for playing that video. And so now we just want to take you through what we can offer you at PwC as a graduate. Okay. All right. What we can offer you as a graduate, and the different opportunities that could impact your life. So from as a graduate joining our firm, right, you'd be learning from top professionals, global clients. You'll have career growth, which is offered through training and our mentorship programs. We also have the opportunities where you are able to make a real world impact, which is really awesome. A bold and collaborative and optimistic work culture, and a chance to be a part of the so you can momentum. And I think if I can just add to that, it's important for students, or if you're embarking on your journey, that again your values would align to the company values, because that's really important. But I think it's also about how we engage with each other, how when respect comes across. It's really great to see. And I think just from my experience, like I love the environment. I do find majority of everybody at the firm is quite humble in their approach, always willing to help and assist. And I love the fact that it's supportive, and that kind of just helps you grow as an individual joining the firm. So if this is something that kind of piques your interest, I hope you getting a heavier touch of that, and that you are heading towards, I want to be a part of PwC. So I also just want to take you through our academic requirements. So some of you may be familiar and some of you may not. But just to give you an overview of that, so you have to be studying towards a CA qualification. It must be through a psych accredited institution. And if you are a first year student, if you're on the call, you must be passing all university courses with an average of at least 65%. And if you are a second year student, you must be passing all university courses with an average of at least 60%. Third and fourth year students must be passing all courses consistently and must qualify for honors according to the relevant university. And so I know you're probably wondering, like, okay, but what do we look for in a candidate? I mean, okay, we know about the requirements, but What do you look for? What's important to you as an organization? So we basically would assess your interpersonal skills, and that would include your communication skills as well, your problem solving ability, and your leadership skills, whether you are able to lead yourself and whether you are able to lead others. Because I think it's quite difficult if you're not able to lead yourself. And if you progress within the organization, how do you then lead others? So that's quite important. And I think teamwork is also important within our space, because we also do consulting. We a consulting firm as well. So you'll be working with lots of students, you'll be working with lots of teams, there'll be lots of collaboration. So it's really important to have that willingness to engage. I think for some it may be a little bit too engaged, will be a little bit too difficult to engage, but that's how you grow and that's how you learn. And then if I can just add to that, that you must be a South African citizen with a South African ID number or have permanent residency. And that's really what we're looking for as a graduate and what we can offer you as an organization. But now I think for the exciting part, we're going to move over to the information sessions, which is like the best part. So we've got our three panel members on the call. That is Lawanda, Yolanda, and Daniel. And like your name mentioned, they were all Milpark students. So we're going to give over to them. They're going to share a little bit about their journey. What's it been like, the transition, joining the firm, being part of Milpark to where they are now. So Lawanda, I'm going to hand over to you. And everybody, let's give Lawanda a warm welcome.
Hello, everyone. Thanks, Jane.
No, you're
Okay.
welcome. It's
Yes,
good to
I'll start.
have you.
Thank you. I'll start my journey with being with Millpark. That's where everyone is currently. So yeah, joining Millpark for me, it was like a most I would say a situation that I was afraid of, to be honest, because Millpark is online and everything. Then for you to be able to navigate through Millpark and its way of its process, I'll put it that way, its process, you have to be able to tell us so that you are good in disciplining yourself and managing the self-management time. So it's more of like learn how to be independent, yeah, and not wanting to be pushed over on doing your stuff and everything. So yes, great. And apparently I got through that. Then it means I was able to have those skills. So yes, going to the journey, as aspiring CA journey. Why is it aspiring CA journey? I went. I haven't actually got into a full detail. Let's say I haven't spent much years in the journey. I just started. I'm on a first year as an audit manager. So I just started my journey. So yes. So as I start, the first few months I had on the audit manager, it's been quite I would also say a situation that I was afraid of before I actually got to be in it. But now, as you get to familiarize yourself around all hectic situations, you get to be able to cruise through. You get to be comfortable with the hard stuff, and you get to manage around. And especially when you love what you do, you don't actually get to feel that it's something that's difficult or anything, in auditing, in an audit world, it's not easy, but if you do it with love, then it becomes within your passion, then you just go through. Okay. Yes, my client exposures, I've been on the insurance sector, including one of the major big insurance companies in South Africa and in Africa as well. Sanlam, I think we all know Sanlam. Yes, so yeah, I've been in that one and banking sector as well, including Capitec audits and private funds, pension funds, retirement funds, asset wealth management. So the pension funds, asset wealth management during my or before being an actual audit, I was not aware of that sector per se because I was not involved around it. But that's what I like about auditing. Once you get exposure in many different sectors, you start to learn about everything. So you more of like participating in different markets while you're actually in your sole job as an auditor. So that's why I chose auditing myself. Personally, that's one of my personal reasons. So with PwC, as you saw on the video that was presented on how much we are tech driven or on our journey towards making sure that we are keeping in line with the tech advancement. So we have quite various tools, AI tools that we implement on our audits. That's including the high speed introduction of the AI, artificial intelligence. So the startup that the easiest way to get into the artificial intelligence is using the prompts. Like on your prompts, you have your ChatGPT, you have your Microsoft 365, that's your Copilot. So getting familiarize yourself around how to prompt well in there, how to write a prompt, how to ask that machine behind that laptop, like to tell it what do you want to see out of it. That way it starts to be tech driven, so that it's like there's fear going on saying that the machine's gonna take your job and everything. No, it's not like that. Now the question is more of do you know how to use that machine? So now we are actually focusing on that, being able to tell that machine what we want it to do for us. So that's why we are focusing on that tech-driven side on when we carry out our job on the audits. We've made some interesting things on it, like prompting or creating some sort of an app on how to track your time. Having an app, like let's say you setting, let's say an app will give you an alert after 25 minutes to take a break. Like once you focus, also making sure that you are taking care of your mental health and everything. You don't just spend 8 hours full focus and then you're going to break down. So you need to have maybe an app to remind you that okay, now it's your breakdown. I mean, like it's your break time. You've been focusing a lot. Take 5 minutes break, then come back. Then you have to just be disciplined on following those tools as well. So yes, and some of you might be aware of those applications, advanced software applications we use in audit, Power Query, Power BI, Alteryx, and so many more. Alteryx is more of those you might not know them, but they're more now used in the corporate side. Like I would say something similar to PowerPoint, but in more detail. Now you tell what PowerPoint must do for you. You are able to prompt it like do this and this for me, not just using templates that are available. So yes, that's it from my side. Thank you, everyone.
Okay, thank you so much, Lawando.
Thank
What we're
you.
going to do is we're going to just go through all the information sessions before we proceed to Q&A specifically for the reps, business reps, if that's okay with everyone. So next up, thank you so much, Lawando, for sharing a little bit about yourself and where you've started and where you've journeyed from and where you are now. We are going to now hand over to Yolanda. Um, and Yolanda was also a Millpark student. She was an academic trainee as well for 2025. And she is now a second year trainee at our firm. So Yolanda, a warm welcome to you. Yeah, let's chat to you, let's engage, and we'll take it from there.
Hi everyone. So I did my undergrad at UCT and did my PGDA at Mopac, then started my first year of articles at Mopac, then moved to PwC as a second year. And moving to PwC as a second year, that is actually a first year, I felt like I was behind. But when I got to PwC, that was not the case. There was a lot of training and support. In the first few weeks, we had 3 weeks training that where we got to actually do the audit and get experience of how it is like going to the client and doing the audit. And there's a lot of training just to catch up. And it's not only at the beginning, but it's as we work. There's also what we call e-learns, what you can do on your own. And in these e-learns, one thing I learned that I'm using most of the times is how to use Chat PwC, which is our Chat GPT, to do my LORs. So it showed me how to create prompts and save them in my Chat PwC so that the next time I do my LORs, documenting my PVAs and documents, I just go there, update what I did, then use that for my LORs. Because when it gets to month end and there's a lot of things you did, now you need to document. Sometimes you struggle to document them, but if you have those prompts just there and just update what you did and then document, it gets easier. So those are the nice things that I got to learn from the e-learns, and there's training on doing on all the new things that I didn't know, like Alteryx and Power BI. And one thing I liked is that there was 6 a.m. club that we attend, which is 2 hours where we learned about Alteryx and Power BI. And this training was paid for because that 2 hours counts as your overtime. So that overtime is paid for. So it was nice to see that I get paid to learn. So that's one of the nice things that I got to experience at PwC. And even with my clients, I was coached because they didn't just assume you are a second year, you should know things. No, what I did before is not the same as what I'm doing now. So I got coaching, and I exposed to the same clients as Rwanda. My first client was Sanlam, which I stayed there for 3 months, and there was a lot of things that I learned and a lot of work to do. So in busy times where we had overtime, there was what we call a wellness hour that we were given, and I loved that because then you get the time to just relax, just get an hour to relax, do whatever you want to do, take a walk or whatever you want to do, and then continue with your work. So I would say doing my academic articles didn't disadvantage me to studying at PwC, because now I still have the time and the coaching to catch up in all of the things that I have missed out, and I get to learn new things. Thank
Okay.
you.
Awesome. That was really great. To hear that you used Chat PwC. So maybe Lawanda and David's gonna follow that same route. Um, yeah, I've also experienced or done something on PwC, and it's really quite cool. So yes, really enjoy the learning that we do have, that the firm does offer, which is really great. So thank you so much, Yolanda. Next up, we are going to have Daniel. So Daniel, over to you, and a warm welcome, and thanks so much for being here today.
Hi, everybody. Good afternoon. Can you just confirm that everyone can hear me, just to make sure?
We
Awesome.
can hear you and
Thank
see
you so
you.
much. So, Janine, to your point, I use Chat PwC every day. I think I use it to draft emails. I use it to just help me word some things correctly. So it's definitely integrated into my working life as best as it can be. So just a short introduction. So I'm Daniel David. I am a recently qualified chartered accountant. I got my NICE certificate earlier at the end of February. So I'm also an audit manager, specifically based in our Stellenbosch office. Um, I'm based in the Stellenbosch office, but fortunately, I've had the opportunity to work in the Cape Town office and also at the Johannesburg office as well. So I've had experience across the board. So a bit about my journey. I did my undergraduate degree at UCT and then my postgraduate diploma at Molpark. I will say the one standout for me for Molpark was the support that you received. You know, it's distant learning, but despite that, I felt more supported at Molpark as I did at UCT. You know, that's just my personal opinion. Let's not say anything. But the mock support and the lectures that you have definitely go above and beyond the sort of expectation from a lecturer. Um, so yeah, and then moving on from my journey at Molpark, I did my articles at PwC Stellenbosch. It was a transition for me being, yeah, it definitely was a transition for me going from the university life to the workplace. It's not the same. You know, you come out of university, you think you know everything. You think you know IS 16, you think you know IFRS 15, and then you get to the workplace and it's like, but do I actually know how to recalculate depreciation, or what are the 5 steps for revenue, you know? And the one thing I will say, and it ties back to the core values that Janine spoke about, is that PwC places a big emphasis on care. You know, you get to the workplace and you understand that we coming in as a new joiner, you don't necessarily know what is expected of you, and they are there to support you. I will say, coming in, you have second year, third year trainees, managers, even the partners, they're there to support you, to ask you questions, whatever the case is. And there's this misconception I've come to realize between the Cape Town or the bigger office, the bigger offices versus Stellenbosch, where we don't Stellenbosch might have small clients, your farmers or your wine companies, whatever the case is, but that's honestly not the truth. Yes, we do have wine farms, which I've heard are quite nice audits, but we also have larger listed clients or even medium-sized, small to medium private companies, and it speaks to my client exposure where I've been on the Remgro Limited audit or Newton Limited audit as well. I've been on audits where there's international it's an international company, for example, Mainstream Renewable Power and Festus, Southern Africa. We have dealt with people from Norway, Ireland, Thailand, sure, India. I've also worked with people in our African firms from Malawi, Kenya as well. So that's sort of just a brief insight into the clients that we have at PwC Stellenbosch. It's not if you go there, you will not be at any sort of disadvantage in terms of client exposure because we have clients in various industries across the board. I think the one standout for me for Stellenbosch specifically is that there isn't segregation in terms of industry. So if you go to Cape Town, you have your CT1, which is more retail sort of focused, and then you have FS, which is more financial service focused, right? At Stellenbosch, we don't have that. So I've been on clients, as you can see on the slide, it's from agriculture, renewable energy, fintech to financial services. So there's definitely no disadvantage to being at Stellenbosch. The other plus thing about it is you can be in the corporate world, it's sort of seen as you're an associate, and then there's your manager, and then there's the partner. At PwC, I've come to learn the structure is very flat. And I think that you'll hear that quite often is that you can sit next to the partner for lunch and you can have lunch with them. And that you don't normally get that, in my opinion, from most corporate places, and that's what you can find at PwC. And then even outside the working world, I've been involved in various PwC activities. My focus is mainly around recruitment. So I've been at many university fairs, career fairs. I've presented at the Psycho Camp, and I've also been involved at the PwC Schools program. So you don't just work, you get involved, you reach out to the community, to the schools that are in your area as well. So yes, we work hard, but I like to think we also play hard. So yeah, thank you very much.
Awesome. Thank you very much, Daniel. And thank you for just sharing also a little bit about the initiatives that you are getting involved in. Because like you say, it's not just about work. And that's what we're all about at PwC. Yes, to Daniel's testament, we work hard, but we also play hard. So thank you for that. Artie, maybe if we just, before we allow for some questions, could we maybe chat a little bit about the interview tips? Because I think that's also quite important for the students. So before we dive into all the questions, please.
Yes, thanks, Janine. I think I just want to take a moment to appreciate Luando, Yolanda, and Daniel. Um, because I remember you all from back in the day, okay? Daniel with the hair. And it's amazing to me to see how you've grown in the organization and how now you are helping us out with recruitment initiatives and sharing your journey because our recruitment team can be quite persuasive, but we appreciate you all. And I'm sure for all of the students on the call, I mean, these three reps started where you are. Like, how fantastic is that this could be you in a year or two from now? So, yay. Thank you so much for sharing your journey. Okay, so let's move on to professional etiquette interview tips. So this is just more around how we engage with our students and what you could potentially face if you are invited for an interview at PwC. So we do both in-person and virtual interviews. So if you are attending an in-person interview, that means you are going to a specific office or a location to meet a recruiter. Ideally, you want to rock up there 10 to 15 minutes before your time slot. This just allows you to navigate if there's a parking issue or if there's long walk from where you have to park or being dropped off to the actual entranceway, just so that you are calm and collected when it is time. Always dress professionally and appropriately. So the expectation is not for a four-piece suit. We are students, right? So all you need to do is wear a neat formal pants, formal shirt. That's it. Done. Um, Always dress appropriately for the opportunity. Maintain eye contact and a confident posture. So remember that in person, there are lots of cues that recruiters pick up that may not be identified in a virtual setting. So it's very important how you are maintaining your eye contact with the recruiter or the panelists. Remember that if you're slouching in your chair about to go into nap mode, then that's going to really read not so great with your recruiter. Always bring your necessary documents. So in most cases, we are tech driven. So in most cases, there will be an e-version of the documents which you can email ahead of time. So that means you won't necessarily need to print anything out. In fact, save the trees. So unless you have to print something out, then you can carry that along. Now for the virtual, because this is actually more popular than in person. So very much like how you attend these webinars, always test the technology. Okay. So we love tech at PwC, but tech doesn't always love us back. So it's very important that you're able to test your camera, your microphone, make sure you are in a location that doesn't have a whole construction site right next door so that you are overpowered by external noises. Make sure that your background is neutral or you have a virtual background like so. Or like you'll see Nwando and Daniel and Yolanda also have different backgrounds, but it's neutral, it's professional, it doesn't showcase a Woolworths fruit counter, so you're keeping it professional. Always look into the camera when you're speaking. Sometimes this can get a little bit tricky, right? Because your camera's in the middle of your screen and sometimes the window is a little bit smaller. So you are trying your best to look in the camera. Best advice, practice. Okay, so hop on an MS Teams call or a Google Meet call with a friend. Set up a call a friend, practice with someone so that you can see how you look on a virtual setting. That's going to help build that confidence when you are in a virtual environment. Do not multitask. Okay. So if you are on WhatsApp in the group chat with the friends and someone sent tea and now you want to scroll, don't do it because people can see that. Okay. So your recruiter or whoever's interviewing you is going to see you scrolling through the chat going, can't believe they did that. So just avoid multitasking at all costs. You have to be fully focused and fully engaged. General tips, always understand what you're being interviewed for. So if you are a chartered accounting graduate and you are being interviewed for a CA training contract, it's important for you to understand, why did you go this route? Why do you want to become a CA? That is probably one of the most guaranteed questions that would potentially come through. So understand why you've gone this route. I know it's not the easiest route, okay? So if you've had rough patches along the way, own them. Own them because you picked yourself up and now you find yourself here. So even if it was challenging, even better, how did you overcome that? How did you navigate that? Always understand why you're pushing through, why you want to become a CA, and what impact you want to have. Always do research on the company. So, that video that Janine shared earlier, go and find it on our website because it's one of many and it's going to blow your mind. Always go and have a look at what's going on with the company. It's going to help you converse with your recruiter. When they ask you about something, you can quickly say, Luanda said he uses Chat PwC. I'm so excited to get to see what I can use it for. That shows that you've done research, you listened, you focused, you engaged. Always have questions prepared. Always. So, as a potential employee, you should want to know what the next few years of your life is going to look like. Prepare those questions. Ask at that point. Every interview should give you an opportunity to ask questions. Always use the opportunity to ask any questions that you have about the role, about what the expectations may be, about what you can do to prepare. All of those things are important. Do not ask about salary. Okay. I think 99.9% of the time, they're going to say, we cannot tell you that. So don't ask about salary. You can follow up, and if they converse with you afterward, then you can inquire at that point. At the interview stage, do not ask about salary. Okay. Thank you, Janine. Let's,
Okay. Sorry, did I cut you off there? Hello?
no, we can move
Oh,
on.
okay, awesome. Thanks, Artie. So thank you for that and just sharing that valuable insight and the tips. I think it's really important for students, especially for those who haven't had interviews before, because it can be quite overwhelming. So it really does help. Thank you so much, Artie. All right. As I mentioned, we are a national team and we're part of the National Graduate Talent Acquisition Team. And we have obviously offices all over. And so we work together with our colleagues. So we work with them often virtually, which is really great. So I'm just going to introduce you to our team. There are some contact details in terms of the email address. So you are welcome to take a screenshot as we go along. And
Janine, realizing how old this picture is.
we should we change it, Auntie, next time, maybe
It's
next time.
fine.
But I like it. Auntie, so yes, this is Auntie details. And as she mentioned, she's our senior manager and talent acquisition lead. So yeah, we do work quite closely with her, which is really awesome. Thank you, Fatima. We can move on to the next slide, please. And then we've got Serena. She's our graduate recruitment manager in our KZN office. And she is responsible for that team as well, working with Nelly that you'll meet in a bit. So you're welcome to take screenshots. Then we've got Lerato. She's a manager in our waterfall office, and she's responsible for waterfall as well as the NER offices. And then we've got Bradley. Bradley's on the call. Hi, Bradley.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
So Bradley's based in our Stellenbosch office. We also work quite closely together, so we're part of the Western Cape team, like I mentioned earlier on. He's our graduate recruiter. He's also responsible for Cape Town, Stellenbosch, Worcester, Western Cape Audit, and our Scholar program. And you can find him at his email address, should you have any questions. And then myself, also a graduate recruiter, as I've mentioned, but focusing again, like I mentioned earlier, on an audit and risk services. So looking forward to getting to know all of you a little bit better. Thank you, Fatima. And then we've got Fatima, who is our background DJ this afternoon. So thank you, Fatima, for joining. Couldn't have done this without you. So thank you so much. Fatima is also our graduate recruiter, and she's responsible for audit as well as the actuarial risk and quants team. So that's what she focuses on. Thank you, Fatima. Then we've got Katie Metzi Malloy. She's based at our Joburg office, also a graduate recruiter and focuses on the risk services. So I do work quite closely with her as we're part of the risk services project team. And then we've got Dia, also our recruiter, and she focuses on foundation for the future and deals. And then we've got Ayanda. She's part of our team as well. But Ayanda's got a special ability because she also does brand and marketing and events. I don't know how she does it, but she does it. And she's based at our Cape Town office as at our Joburg office. Sorry, apologies. And then we've got Sofiso. I'm also a graduate recruiter, but he focuses on tax and legal, which is a very niche skill to have as well. And he's based at our Joburg office. Then we've got Marlene, our recruiter in the Joburg office as well, and she focuses on core audit. And then we've got Nelly, who works with Serena, like I mentioned earlier on in our KZN office. So she is responsible for the graduate recruitment over there. So that's her email address. If you need to chat to her, if you're wanting to apply to the Durban office, you're welcome to engage with her. And then we've got Sivu, who is responsible for our Bloemfontein office, our Mahikeng office, Kimberley, and Central Audit. Yes, we all look very friendly. We are friendly people. And then we've got Christopher, also graduate recruiter. He's based in the Eastern Cape. So yes, if you wanting some more opportunities in the Eastern Cape, that's these details over there. And also just encouraging you to apply on our website as well. I have shared the link in our chats to all our applications as well. Thank you, Fatima. And then we've got Giovanna, who's recently joined us. So really awesome to have her on board as a graduate recruiter. And so she also focuses on core audit and risk services, and also based in our Waterfall office. And then we've got, I'm going to say Sam. I'm going to have a difficulty in pronouncing the full name, so I'll say Sam Radebi. Also a graduate recruiter, also recently joined us, and she works quite closely with Fatima from our Western Cape team and focuses on actuarial risk and quants. Okay, and that's it, everyone. That's our team, our national graduate recruitment team. I hope you were able to take some screenshots. I'm sure you were. And so now we're going to chat a little bit about the wellbeing initiatives because we've realized it's so important to students out there as well, and also for students that's joined our firm. So Aarti, over to you to chat a little bit about our wellbeing initiatives.
Thanks, Jan. Okay, so in the beginning, again, testing you quickly, Janine mentioned 5 values, right, that PwC has, and that holds really near and dear to all of us. And one of those values was care. And often care, it feels like a word and not an action. And that's why I thought it was so important for us to really showcase the many different things that PwC does to ensure that all employees feel psychologically safe, but then they can also prioritize the different pillars of being well. Okay, so I think the first thing I want to mention is that as an employee of PwC, you do have 24/7 access to an organization called LIRA. And LIRA is a whole lot of registered psychologists and counselors, and they can help with anything from how to get vehicle finance to grief counseling, or going through anything in your life, actually. It's completely confidential, so PwC does not get any information about anything that you've discussed, but it is such a valuable tool for every employee to have. And we also drive these initiatives in various teams. So I know if I could speak to Yolanda, Luando, and Daniel, each of them will tell you about different things that their team does to enhance well-being. So you heard Yolanda speak about the 1 hour of wellness. So every team also prioritizes it in different ways. So if we go to the next slide, I want to really, okay, now this is a little bit small, I know, but bear with me here. So these are all of the things that PwC has done in the last year. So we had breast cancer awareness talks. We have financial well-being talks about your mind and money, loss and bereavement group sessions, thriving under pressure. We had a leadership, so Africa People partner call, where our partners spoke about well-being and how they prioritize it. So that was led by our Africa CEO Dion, and then our people partner Alina, and our partner in charge in Cape Town, Nicolette. We also had a comedy session. So all of us hop onto a call like this, no multitasking allowed, and you literally just sit and watch a comedy show and laugh till you're in stitches, which is such a great break from your day, from your crazy day that you're having. We had a caricature memento, so you could actually go and provide a picture or pose for the artist to create this caricature of you. We had emotions at work and a toolkit on how to become self aware and socially aware in the workplace, how high performers manage their routines. Because if you are a chartered accountant, chances are you juggle many balls in your life, okay? So you are a high performer naturally. And that means PwC's culture is high performing, and it means that we need to take care of our people that are high performing and how they manage their workload. We do breast cancer screenings. We have vitamin B flu shots. We do park runs with our CEOs, um, counseling sessions, wellness days, the emotional regulation. We've got a new app for Lyra. I mentioned Lyra earlier on. We have blood drives to donate blood, dance classes and online yoga and Pilates workshops. We even have massages in the office. Okay, so it's not a full body massage, but it can be like a neck and shoulder or a foot massage. It depends. But those are all really cool initiatives and this is just some of the things that we do. And I really think that it enhances the workplace and the environment in which we work in. But yes, if you are going to join PwC, I hope that this has added a level of comfort to know that PwC really does care about its employees. And if you feel like you're not being cared for, we even have hotlines and pathways that you can take to speak up about these. So, yes, that's all from me, Janine.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Artie. So now we can move over to onto the exciting part of the Q&A sessions. So if you want, I think they have, Jonay, do they have the opportunity to unmute or is it just via the chat?
They will, so they must just put up their hands and then yeah, Tasneem will
Okay.
unmute them in the background.
But there's so many Q&As here.
I
Should
know,
we
but
start there, Janine?
your team has been answering some of them. So I've been trying to
Oh,
keep an eye on it. So the team is on it. But yeah, I see there is a hand already.
Awesome. Okay, great. So you are welcome to then unmute and ask your questions. Please feel free to engage with our with Daniel or Lawando or Yolanda as well, or any of us, and we're happy to assist you. So you may go for it, Tabang.
Good afternoon. Thank you so much for this session. There's a few things I just wanted to answer. To ask. I'm not too sure if this has already been said because I was having technical difficulties, but I'd like to know at PwC what industries are there like when you are auditing? What type of industries would you be auditing, and how how is like what company you audit allocated? Like how does that work? Is there like a rolling thing where you order different companies at different times from different industries, or once you stick to like, for example, banking, you only audit banking? Thank you.
okay, so Tabang, I'm going to start this question, but I'm going to let our panel also jump in here. So, Tabang, as a new trainee, you do get an opportunity to choose a group that you would like to do your articles in, only for the Cape Town and Waterfall offices, right? So, in Waterfall, we have a variety of groups that you would have to choose, and this can be technology and media, energy and utilities, banking, financial services, investments, and insurance. I know I'm missing one, consumables. In Cape Town, you would have to choose between CT1 and FS or financial services or our 50/50 program in the Cape Town office. Every other office in the country do not have groups. So you do get exposure across the board. So you may be allocated a client that is agriculture, or you may be allocated a client that's manufacturing or retail or anything really. To speak to how that happens in your honors year, we do invite all of our CTA students to an info session where you get to hear from the different officers and from the different groups. At this point, you can choose a preference. So for Johannesburg or Cape Town, we do try and give our students their first preference, but it's not always possible. And then once you choose a group, you would be able to audit different clients or different industries within that group. So for Western Cape, if you choose FS, it has a variety, it's not just banking. So you would have seen from Luando's slide, I think it was, it's banking, asset management, pension funds. So it's a variety of things within FS. Um, if you are in Gauteng and you choose banking, you would have to stay in banking for 3 years. So it's a little bit different depending on the office that you choose. That would determine the exposure that you get. If you do choose a specific group, you are meant to stay in that group for 3 years. However, say in your second year, you feel like, I'm not getting everything that I need, then it's an opportunity for you to chat with your partner and coach and decide if there is an opportunity for you to hop onto or get more exposure across.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, awesome.
We are trying to respond to all of the questions that's coming through. We've got two platforms for the question session, so we are responding to that. Anybody else would like to potentially ask a question?
Jen,
Yes,
whilst
Artie.
we're waiting, oh, you just knew, you know me so well. You just knew I want to say something. There is a question in the chat around alternate stream. So I want to quickly tackle that one whilst we're waiting for a hand.
Okay.
So you would have seen PwC CA training contract alternate stream, and our alternate stream is actually the CA training contract, but getting your articles in different, I want to say, business units. So the alternate stream speaks to our virtual funds team, our center of excellence, or our independent review teams. And two of those are actually fully virtual. So you can do your 3 years of articles, get all of your competencies, sign off on your PVVAs. I know that's like a little bit of a swear word, PVVAs. You can get all of that within your 3 years. It's a full cycle training contract, but your exposure is different. Your exposure to clients is limited, but you work virtually. In the office of your choice. So you can definitely read more about that. It's live on our site and you're welcome to check it out.
Dankie, Artie.
I think if there's any burning questions, you guys can. Okay, there's one. Let's like we are the last question, and yeah, go for it, we are. Oh, wait, you're not unmuted yet. Let's do that.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone.
Hi,
I would just like to know, hi. I would just like to know, does having prior experience put you at a disadvantage? One, and then my second question would be, Now, in an instance where an applicant would have been unsuccessful, is it possible that they can reapply again, or should they pass CTA? Is there still another possibility to actually apply for the 2027 intake?
Okay, so I'm going to help you there with the second part of your question first. So when it comes to reapplying for the application, unfortunately, you're not able to resubmit for the same year of intake. However, if you're going to be repeating, example PGDA, you are then welcome to apply for the following year of intake. And that's how our process would be. Would you mind just repeating your first question again, please?
Oh, I was just asking, having prior experience, like work experience, does that put you in a disadvantage when applying?
It will depend though. If it's there's two instances, right? So in an instance where it has not been, where you haven't done articles, then we can consider that provided that you haven't had more than 2 years working experience. If, however, in the event where you've started articles at another firm and you've worked there for a while, you would obviously then incur a penalty. From transferring from one firm to another. And in addition to that, when applying to us and you go through the process and you are successful, you would then have to start as a first year trainee. So those are the two scenarios, and that's why I'm saying it would really depend on the type of role that you've applied to. But in general, for articles, we require you then to have no more than 2 years working experience. And that's it for you. Thank you.
Amazing. There was a hand, and the hand now went down. So, guys, let's leave it there. Let's give a last round of applause, virtual round of applause to PwC. Thank you for an amazing presentation and for taking the time out today to talk to our students and share all this valuable information. And guys, thanks for being engaging on a Friday afternoon. I hope you guys all have a wonderful weekend, and we'll see you in another career day soon. Thanks, everybody.
Awesome. Thank you,
Thanks so
Janae.
much,
Take
Yune.
care, everyone. Have a good weekend.